Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope you're all doing good. This is Sudipta Kundu, your science teacher. So, as we have started a chapter Fibre to Fabric, and we have already discussed about one fiber that how one fiber that is wool, that how the wool is processed and the various steps that are involved, right? Now, I hope that you have understood that. Now, today we are going to discuss another new topic. We are going to discuss a new topic, and that topic is silk. You have come across this word silk various time in your home. You have also seen that your mom has silk sari, right? In this chapter, we are going to discuss that how we get this silk and how this silk is processed. Now, before understanding the various processes, we have to know the history behind it. History means that how this silk was discovered. Then only we can understand the processes and the discovery and the silk. How the silk was discovered. It has a very interesting story. This silk was discovered in China. It was discovered in China, and you know how it was discovered? It was an accidental discovery. It was not intentional. It was not something intentional কি ইচ্ছে করে করা হয়েছিল. It was accidental. What was actually happening is that there was an emperor. He has a garden, Emperor Huang. He has a garden, and he found that the mulberry leaves are getting damaged. So he asked his Empress Sri Lanka. He asked her that to find the cause of the damaged mulberry leaves. That why the mulberry leaves is getting damaged that are present in the garden. So while roaming, while finding the cause, she found a white worms eating the mulberry leaves. She actually didn't know what these worms were. She only found that these white worms were eating up the mulberry leaves. And she also noticed some shiny cocoons around them. They were, and also the cocoons means they were, and also they have found that these worms were spining up, and while spining, they are converting into cocoons and the shiny cocoons. Now, what actually happened that while she was having a tea, suddenly, while she was having a tea under the tree, suddenly a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea, and while removing the cocoon from the tea, she found out a tangle of delicate threads separated from the cocoons, and from there the silk was discovered. After discovery of this silk by China, these Chinese people, they managed to keep the silk a secret over 100 of years. 100, they didn't let us to know that how this silk are processed, how this silk are manufactured. And anyone from China, if they dare to dare to share their information of how this silk is processed, they were being executed, they were being punished. Even after this, the some of the countries are able to find out the history behind it, history or process behind it. Japanese expedition succeeded in taking some silkworm eggs and four young Chinese girls to Japan, and from there, in Japan, the silk was introduced. Similarly, in India also, it is also said that silk was brought to India by Chinese princes who hid eggs and mulberry seeds in the lining of her hairdresses. In this way, in India the silk was introduced, and later on when some of the countries came to know, the later on traders, travelers who used to travel various country, they introduced silk to other countries, and the route they travel is still called the silk route. This is a very important information. So this is how the silk was discovered, and this is how the silk was introduced to various world, to various other countries. Now comes to the most important, that is what is silk. Yes, what is silk? Silk is natural fiber that is obtained from silkworm. Sorry for the spelling mistake, that is silkworm. And the rearing of silk for obtaining the silk is called sericulture. Rearing of a silkworm, sorry, I haven't written, it is a rearing of a silkworm for obtaining the silk is called silk sericulture. As you can see, this sari, you have seen that your mom had this kind of sari. That sari actually is nothing but a silk. Now comes to the properties of silk. Very interesting property of this silk is that the silk is an elastic in nature. It is flexible. Elastic means it is a flexible and lustrous. Silk is soft and smooth. It is the strongest natural fiber. It has been means the uh, it has its strength has been compared with the with steel. With steel, it the people tell that you will see in the books that silk is as strong as a steel. It is a good insulator, and also it is a light in weight and it can be easily folded. You have seen that silk. You can see, go ask your mom. I must say that ask your mom and ask your mom to show her a silk sari, and from there you can discover that how the silk looks, and from there you can understand. Now, do you know, apart from the natural silk, even now the artificial silk have also been introduced means, you know what is natural and what is artificial. Natural means that is obtained from the nature, and the artificial means that are man-made. Man-made means that are made by us only, by with the help of chemicals. Now the question is, how will you distinguish this artificial and natural thing? How will you differentiate that this is a natural thing and this is artificial? Now see that whenever you can distinguish easily, the fabric which burns, this giving the smell of the burning hair with a, will be natural, and the artificial silicone, the fabric which burns giving the smell of burning paper is will be artificial. See, the natural silk will look like this. When you will burn them, it will look like this, and the fake silk will look like this. Will after burning, it will look like this, and this is how you can distinguish. Now see, there in the market you will see there are various silk are available. Now you are went to the shopkeeper and they are telling you this is silk. Now how will you distinguish whether it is artificial or natural? Just by burning. Just by burning, while you when you will burn, if it is giving the smell of burning hair, then you will definitely say yes, this is natural. And if it is giving the smell of burning paper, then you will tell that it is artificial. And by looking it also you can distinguish them. Now comes to the most important, that is a life cycle of silk. Like human also have a different stages. Different There are different stages of life for human. Similarly the silkworm have also have. In human, you will see the child is born, and this child is turned into teenage, and then teenage to adult, and adult to old age. And this way it is continuous. Similarly, the life cycle of silkworm also continues. The first will they will from eggs it will convert to caterpillar, and from caterpillar to it will convert to pupa stage, and from pupa stage to it will finally turn into adult, and that is silk moth. And from there the silk moth uh, is emerged. Now how this life cycle is started, how the life cycle of human is started. The life cycle of humans started by giving a birth, right? Your mother has given you birth, and from there your life cycle has started. Similarly, the life cycle of silk moth starts from the female silk moth. This female silk moth will lay eggs. After laying eggs, what will happen? These eggs will get hatched, and from these eggs, a larva will come out. And that larva is called caterpillar or a silkworm. And after this, the next stage of this larva is pupa stage. In this pupa stage, what will happen? That means they will weave a net to hold itself. They will weave a net, and it will swing its head from side to side, and to form a structure like this. To form a structure like this. What actually happens, you know? During this movement, this caterpillar will move its head from side to side. During this movement, the the caterpillar secretes a fiber, and this fiber is made up of protein which on exposure to air harden itself and becomes a silk fiber. And in this way the caterpillar completely cover itself by a silk fiber and turns to pupa, and this covering is called cocoon. And this further development of pupa into the moth inside the cocoon takes place. And after few days you will see that from this cocoon the silk moth is coming out. And in this way the life cycle of silkworm continues. This is a life cycle. Now let's understand. Let me show you one video by which you can understand. Let me show you. See, you can see these caterpillars. These caterpillars are feeding themselves on what? On mulberry leaves. Now this caterpillar will grow, and this after growing after certain a time, they will convert. They will move on to the next stage, that is pupa stage. Now let's see how they are entering. So you can see by feeding themselves, they have grown enough, right? So see, after 4 weeks, this caterpillar will start entering into pupa state. That means they will start cocooning. Cocooning means that they started forming a weave net around itself to cover itself into cocoon. Now let's see how they're covering. You can see these threads. These threads are actually nothing but a silk fiber. This silk fiber. These they when this caterpillar secretes a fiber made up of proteins, and when it is exposed in air, it hardens. And this fiber is nothing but a silk fiber. This is a silk fiber. See, after continuous secretion of this protein they have finally entered into pupa stage, that is cocoon stage. They have already converted themselves into, covered themselves in cocoon. So finally, from this cocoon, after few days, after few weeks, you will see a silk moth comes out. This is the life cycle of silkworm, the four different stages of life. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.